Welcome everyone to the weekly live stream. So I'm here with Seb. Just if you don't know us, we run the Reality Creator Consulting Program for coaches, and we wanted to do a weekly just broadcast, like no real like planning for this, just like the honest reality of like what we're thinking about on a weekly basis. And the purpose of this is to for you guys to learn a lot without any cuts, without any bullshit. And then also to see what the in and out of like a weekly plan, a weekly schedule looks like for running a business and the things that we're learning because we're always students of the game. We're always learning new things. And I think updating you in real time what we're working every single week is going to give some good transparency, some good insight. And we're just going to get into things. Any words, Seb? Okay. What are you eating, bro?
Protein bar.
Protein bar. Cool. So I sent this to Seb this morning, but this guy, he's quite popular in the space, Suwei. He got 100K cash collected day, which is pretty insane in the consulting space. I don't think many people have reached that. And I wanted to break it down because he actually did a post, I think this was yesterday, where he basically said, I made 100K cash collected in a day. I will give a recording to a few people of like a consulting call he had in his group about how we made that 100K. Did you manage to watch it or no?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. I didn't watch the whole thing to be fair, but I'm just gonna give a few pointers that I think is gonna be valuable to you, and also we're gonna literally just brainstorm ourselves. So the biggest thing is he mentioned, and this is kind of self-explanatory, but it takes roughly 3 months for inputs to show themselves. So if you're doing something today, it will take roughly 3 months for you to see the true result of that input, which makes sense, right? He said he was working really hard in January and February. So in March, those results kind of compounded and showed themselves. That is like kind of the first step. The second one is a lot of his business is actually run organic. He does run ads now, and that's probably a big factor to why he was able to scale, but he does a lot of organic. And the biggest thing, and we'll do a little bit of a deep dive in his content, the biggest thing that I've noticed is presentation. And this comes down to, I have to improve this, full transparency. Presentation. So like things like what do you wear? What is your background, right? What does the lighting look like? And for some niches, this isn't super important, right? Let's say, for example, you are helping dads get in shape and you're a fitness coach. Maybe you don't need to have you don't need to wear anything crazy. You just have to look like a dad because that's who you want to relate to. But obviously, he's in the business space. He's trying to attract people with money. He's trying to attract quality. And for him, the way he shows up with the lighting, with the background, with what he wears. Is he wearing clean stuff? Is he wearing like stuff with tons of logos that looks kind of corny? He wants to attract a very specific type of client. So you need to actually pay attention to things like wardrobe, what you're wearing, your presentation. He even said he's going to make a module in his course that's only about what you're wearing. And I think that's actually kind of insane, you know? Like, any thoughts, Seb? I want this to be a
But by the way, I'm drawing on the Zoom, so you can see it, but the viewer can see it.
No, I can see it. I can see it
Oh, you
too.
can.
Yeah, you're drawing
Okay.
on my shit, bro. Um, but anyway, so that's the first one is presentation. How can you make, even if it's just 1% every single time, how can you make your everything look better in terms of the presentation? The second thing, and some people watching this might be rolling your eyes like, of course, but it's really getting clear on ICP and research. Okay. Now, what does this mean? This means he knows exactly what is going on in his ICP's head every single day and speaks it to them better than they can ever tell themselves. Right? I'll repeat that. Like your audience is struggling with things. And sometimes they don't even know how to put it into words. It's like kind of fairy dust, right? They're struggling with things, they feel anxious, but when you put it into words exactly what their pain problem is, and you really spend time on this, you will build more trust than ever before. Okay. So it's all
And
about,
ICP means ideal client persona.
yeah, or ideal customer profile, ideal client profile. Like there's so many ways to say it. You can also say ICA, ideal client avatar or something, all the same thing. And you guys really have to do the research. Go into Reddit forums, right? Go into Reddit. He doesn't mention this, but this is something you can use. Go to Reddit forums. What are they having a conversation about? What are they telling each other, right? What are, and also another big one that I'm also going to do with, we're going to do with Seb, the best I record everything with Fathom, right? I record all my meetings um, with Fathom, which means I have all the transcripts. All of our best clients, I'm going to record or I'm going to use the transcript of our sales call and just remind myself of what their struggles and what their pain problems are. Because if you want to attract more of your dream customer, the best way to do it is to have a form where they actually tell you like how much content that they consume, how long did it take them to book a call, all that information that you need, but also the sales call transcript, that sales call recording of a dream customer that bought is golden because all of the things that they're saying, oh, I struggle with this problem, I struggle with that, that's perfect ideas that you can leverage. Okay? Record on meetings with Fathom and leverage their point pain problems for content. Okay. Now, one more thing, and this is something that he didn't mention, but I just want to like kind of get over to you guys, is the way he's targeting his customer isn't through the typical way, like, oh, are you struggling with content? Or you must be thinking that you're not growing. Like, it's not typical, right? And I made a presentation with, it wasn't a presentation, it was a module about there's two ways to target your ideal customer. You can do it kind of the boring way, which is what I just said. Are you X? Are you struggling with Y? Right? Or you can use the dog whistle approach. Are you struggling with X, right? The dog whistle approach is saying things in a way where it attracts the exact person that you want to help, but you're not doing it in a way where are you this person? An example could be like your ICP, just like Seb said before. Some people don't know what ICP is, but people that I want to work with that are business owners or know a little bit of knowledge, they know what ICP means. They know what KPI means. So like KPIs are the most important thing to optimize for. That could be, let's say, a hook. And even though I am not saying exactly who I'm targeting, I'm still targeting the exact person I want to work with because they know X. So let's actually go together and look at his content and we can look at some examples. Anything you want to add, Seb? Because I know you've been doing a lot of content research.
Nah, not really.
Okay,
All,
cool.
all good.
Um, let's just look. And some of these, another thing I wanted to say as well, just before I go over, some of these bits of content, they're not extremely niche. And I'll tell you what I mean. Like, let's say this is a piece of, let's say this is a 30-second timeline of the video, right? It's 30 to like 45 seconds. That's kind of what I've seen. Sometimes it goes longer. And the videos that are longer are more like conversion. They're more for selling. But a lot of you guys watching this, you just need more lead flow. So selling isn't really the most important thing. It's getting new eyeballs of people that are interested. So let's say this is 30 to 45 seconds. Over the first, let's say, half of the video, so that would be, let's say, 15 seconds to make it simple, you are speaking almost broad. You're speaking still to your customer avatar, but you're speaking in kind of a broad way. Okay, so you're saying time is the most important thing if you want to be successful. That would be an example. It's a little bit broad. It can speak to a lot of people and it will get a lot of views, this video. But then towards the other half of the video, you're being more specific to kind of target the exact person you want to help. So I'll give an example. You can say like, to be successful, you need to optimize your time and do everything with your calendar. That will be the front part. It's like kind of broad, right? And then towards the end, it's like because that's how you can optimize for targeting people with your content that will actually buy, as an example. So towards the second half, you're targeting this specific niche, but because you're being broad at the beginning, you're getting a lot of views and getting a lot of attention. Okay. And only a small percentage will really understand the second half, but you're still getting more attention. You're still getting more views. I'll give examples of this. Um, Not every single one. Sometimes he has videos that are just say
Content should always be the priority no matter.
content should always be the priority no matter what. Here, it just speaks straight to content creation. And obviously, every single video will have a little bit of a different intention. Some videos are like authority building, like this, how much money he made. Some will be different, right? Everybody thinks that the reason that we make all this money is we have the best marketing, you know? Another thing that I noticed is you almost want to assume you're always speaking to your ICP, if that makes sense. So like he doesn't even think, is my ICP gonna watch it? He just knows they are because their ICP will only watch this, right? Like you almost have to think like your audience is just one person and you just speak always to that one person, just giving value to that one person. It's like,
Wait, and also on that note,
yeah,
wait, how much views does this video have?
38,000.
Yeah, okay, because it's already has 2K likes. So the conversion rate is pretty high.
Yeah. And the key thing is he's speaking about marketing at the beginning, which is a fairly broad topic, right? Marketing, tracked revenue, referrals. Now he speaks about the onboarding process, right? If he would have started off the video saying, this onboarding process made us 600 grand, it would not get anywhere near the views. But because he starts off with to do the best marketing, to build a business, everyone that's in marketing is interested. And then he gets into the onboarding. And a lot of people make that mistake where they start off the video talking about onboarding, a specific thing that only tiny people care about, and you lose a lot of people that potentially would be interested in this topic, you know? A perfect, like, this is a bit off topic, but a perfect example of someone who does this great is Dan Coe. He speaks very broadly about life, about business, philosophy, and then he niches down into writing, right? He teaches people how to write content, and he actually does it mainly with Twitter, which is even more niche. Um, but he broadens up the hooks, and then he gets more specific towards the end. Let's do another example. Okay, this is closing. Let's see. All of his videos do very well. This is another one that I want to mention. Record yourself in the action of doing things. This is the biggest life hack that I've realized. If you are recording yourself while you're working, while you're doing things, and you're in action, not only are you more authentic, but you're more in flow. You're not like having to put on an act. And people like to see that. That's what I'm doing right now with recording this. What's another example? This is also technically recording in the moment, right? Is recording a sales call, which is good. This is more, look, see, like this is the crazy thing. We have a lot that we're gonna go through. That's not even a hook. But he knows through the visual that only business people will be interested. You know? We have a lot that we're gonna go through. That's not a hook. What gets the attention for his ideal audience is just the visual. Because no one else other than a business owner would be interested in this visual. So there's lots of ways to get hooks, but and then obviously he's getting a lot of leads through this. And that's why he's able to make 100K in a single day, guys, is because he mastered or really understood content in a way that gets the most attention but still targets the highest quality person. You know, like when you just meet someone. Here, this is also like kind of like an in the moment one. It's like a documentation, and documentation is big. Like that's the big things that I've realized that are performing really well is documentation videos. And some of you guys might be like, okay, I don't have a team, or I don't go outside or go to cool venues. I think even if you're walking with your friend and you're just like talking about something that you're interested in or you're passionate about, and it relates somewhat to what you do, just tell them, hey, can you quickly like record this? And you just get it out and you just speak while you're going for a walk. That is stuff that really makes you more like a character, you know? If you look at the biggest like movies, you know, they're not only in one scene, that you see them in different scenarios, and that's what makes you interesting. So documentation videos is really working well. And then almost like whiteboard slash green screen is doing well. Um, and those are the main things. And and that's what I see is doing well for like building authority and gaining trust. Yeah. But I like I said, guys, I didn't watch the full video, but this is just something I wanted to pass on to you guys is because um like all of this stuff, seven business shares his biggest lesson. Here he's telling a
Mm.
story. Seven-figure business owner. Okay, this is something that not everyone can do, right? But you know, because this gains a lot of attention, the seven-figure part, and not everyone can write that. But you can always do it in a different way. So this is a story that would only interest his ICP, right? Um, yeah. And I wanted to speak on one more thing that I taught my clients and I'm using recently. And it's the 4A principle, okay? 4A's. Essentially, there's four different types of content that's going to get someone to kind of buy from you because everyone gets value differently. You've got actionable, and this is like an example with Sue. It was him explaining the onboarding process. Like if I watch that, technically I could do the same thing as him. It's actionable. I can take an immediate action on it. Then there's aspirational. This is more where you're telling your story or you're telling a client story. You're getting people aspiring to what that thing that you're showing is. Analytical. This is more like numbers, data. Someone like Nick Setting is doing very well with this, with that angle. So this is like, just to write it down for you guys, stories slash testimonials. This can be your own stories as well. If you don't have a lot of testimonials or stuff like that, just take your own stories for aspirational. Actionable is like to-dos slash what I am doing. What I am doing works kind of really well because people don't always want to people don't always want to just be told something. And I'll get into that as well because there's more details with this. And then there is, what's the last one? Analytical, aspirational, anthropological. This is a bit more confusing if you don't know what that means. But essentially, it's like the psychology or the mindset, you know, of why, like, for example, why do all of your prospects on sales calls say, I need to think about it? It's because they don't understand, like, they don't have the right mindset. So how can you make content that makes them take action now, makes them do it now? How can you explain, okay, this is a big problem, this is a pain problem that you need to solve? And pretty much with these four buckets, every different type of content you can put into, right? This would be probably an aspirational. He's at a mastermind, it looks cool, right? That's pretty aspirational. Aspirational can also be very simple. Like this is a like a testimonial one. So this is more aspirational as well. But aspiration can also be as simple as this was a clip of when we were in Croatia. This can also be aspirational. Like it doesn't have to be a head talking video. It can just be you showing off something that's inspiring, you know? Actionable will mostly have to be you explaining something. Um, but that's something that I've realized and that you can leverage. I just wanted to find something that I wanted to share with you guys. Um, I've got a lot of random crap in here, so I need to find the right thing. Yeah, here I think it was. Um, yeah, here. This is it. So I'm just gonna move this little part or make it a bit closer. So this is all about trust, okay? There's three ways you can make a piece of content. You can make a piece of content where you're making an observation, which is great for beginners, out of experience and out of expert. Let's say Sue, right? If Sue makes a content saying, this is what you should do to do X, because he's an expert, it works well and you can believe him because he's got all this proof, everything behind him, you know? Expert kind of content. You just tell people what to do. You don't have to explain yourself, and it works. Okay, that's why Nick Setting or the biggest people in the space, Iman Gadji, can just say something and it just gets tons of views. It works because everyone knows he's an expert, which is a bit more on the risky side. If you're someone that just starts off in this niche and you're like, you should do this, and you've got no trust, no built, then people will be like, okay, this guy, this girl, I'm not trusting him. That doesn't work. The second thing you can do is out of experience. If you say, I did this and I got X result, no one can be like, oh, I don't trust you. It's like, it's my experience. It's what I've done, you know? And that's it probably like, if I could put this in terms of views, it'll probably be mostly like this. Expert content might get a bit less. You might get a little bit less response from it. Experience, you might get more. Observation, very easy to get a lot of views. If you see Alex Hormozian react to it, you can easily get a ton of views because you're making an observation. No one can tell you that that's not true because it's your observation. So if you're starting off, you probably want to hang out in this realm where you're making content where you observe things and you share your stories and expertise. You don't want to really hang out here so much unless you've got a lot of proof, a lot of like testimonials or something, and you can have an expert stance on something. So that's just another thing that I wanted to mention. With low, this means it's kind of easier to make, it's easier to get views. High means it's harder, it's more competition. But you also have to think in terms of trust, expert, if you do this, you're going to build the most amount of trust, you know? Um, if you're kind of doing experience, you'll get kind of trust because you did it for yourself, but not for other people. Observation, you get the least amount of trust. You're reacting to someone, but you're not building in a ton of trust because it wasn't you. So that's just kind of another thing I wanted to mention is that when you, oh man, I'm probably gonna lose. Oh no, here it is. If you look at this guy, Sue, and you're like, I'm just gonna copy this guy. It's like you can't do that. You don't have the expert and the amount of trust built to be able to just constantly give expert opinions on things. With him, um, I need to go back to him. With him, he can make a video telling you exactly what to do, and it works because he's got that trust behind him. And if you copy it, it's just not going to work. You know, like this video. Um, low
I
ticket
mean, that one
offers.
might work because it's like it's kind of giving people dopamine looking at it.
Kind of. I mean, he's building a lot of social proof because of him in a webinar or in an in-person meeting. But what I'm trying to say is, um, if I'm someone and I want to make a business content, and I'm like, low ticket offers will flood the market as people will try to reduce buy risk. If I say that same thing, it's not going to work nearly as good because he's got the footage and most people kind of know him in this space, so they take it as true, you know? So if I would kind of want to take this video, you could react to it and be like, yeah, from experience, low ticket, he's right, whatever. That might work. Um, o- or you observe, you know? That's at least what's worked for me. I had a video, it was a while back now. I think it got like 7,000 views. I got a decent amount of followers from it. And I was just observing, um, like here I made some observation videos. This one did pretty well. I don't know exactly when it was. Um, yeah, this one. I got a lot of comments, a lot of interesting leads coming through from this video, and I just observed this guy's content, and I just said what he was doing. And no one can be like, that's not true. No one can like argue with me because I'm just observing him and telling what I think. And it was about Smith Reese. He's in the space. He does cool content. Um, and I just observe and I give some value based on it, you know? And it worked very well. Good leads came from this, you know? And that's why if you're kind of at the beginning stage where you don't have a ton of trust built, I would stay more in talking about your experience and then talk and then observing what other people are doing and then doing these different angles for it. Like in that video, I was basically giving people an actionable thing to do. I just told people, even if you're in your bed and it's late at night, just record a piece of content. It's better than doing nothing because it worked for Smith Reese and he's crushing it. No one can deny that. Um, how long are we going? I'm kind of yapping for quite a while here. Fuck.
I don't
Um,
know. Like if there's not much more to cover, then
yeah, but I think that's it. I'm not going to make it much longer. But anyway, guys, what I want you to do is comment the best thing that you've learned from this video. There probably won't be a ton of comments of this video, but just do it anyway. I want to see that you're actually listening. And I'll see you next week. We'll do this every single week. Okay.